Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to episode 10 of the Weekly Walkoff. We are here on a Sunday, Mother's Day. Don't quite think that we have the mother's demographic here on the channel, but would say hopefully you spent some good time with your mom today or whatever. So let's jump into baseball for the week. We have two Boston guys that are going to be jumping on late. My co-hosts, Nate and Greg. The Celtics are in a big Game 7 against Philadelphia right now in the NBA. That's a fun one. Celtics are looking good, looking like they're going to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll talk some Sorare. In the meantime, we got a good group already. We'll go over game weeks 14, game week 15. We'll take a look live into Sorare, into the marketplace, talk tiers, and then also some of the best buys that we've had up to date. So with that being said, let us dive in. DJ Local, what is going on? John Riley, what's going on? We'll do a giveaway also here, people. We'll do a giveaway at the end of the Sorare portion of this video. Brennan, what's going on? Welcome back. We're giving away 2 arms today. Kyle Freeland, who looked lights out today. He gave me a 40-point performance in Sorare on my rare competition. And then also we got a Brian Bayo from the Red Sox, who has been awesome the past couple of times out. 3 straight 20-point performances. Shout out to Hud's Dog for shooting that over. What's going on? Let me see here. Celtics can win, but go Cardinals. Yeah, we got a Sunday night baseball coming up also. So that will be huge. We'll make our picks for that Sunday night game. Have it hard to believe that Greg and Nate are going to go against their Sox in Boston. Hydro, what's going on? I also am hoping for a Lakers-Celtics final. I'm a Lakers fan here in LA. Let's dive into some baseball for the week. I'm going to pull up. Let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know what you guys are watching. I'm just going to do a general dump of everything that I have seen this week. I want to know what you've been watching this week. But as I do that, I will share my screen and we'll take a look at the division standings. One of the things that we have done traditionally here on the live streams is take a look at into the run differential for the Oakland A's, the poor A's. I'll share my screen right now. Here we go. And let me know what you guys want to see too. Like I said, I'm solo freeballing this until the group gets here. They're watching the Celtics game, so I'm sure they'll pop in soon. Nate and Greg, here we go. Share screen. So let me know what you guys want to talk about in the meantime. I'll get into all the baseball stuff. We'll take a look at the Sorare marketplace too. But we'll wait for him to jump on to go over some of the tier stuff, some of the best buys that we've had, and some of the strategy stuff. We'll give it about 10 minutes or so. Let me see here. Miguel had Freeland in limited, but let down by Logan Gilbert and Renfroe. Brutal, man. Yeah, there's a couple guys that haven't made the lineup that I was looking at too. C123, what's good? That's a tough one. Gilbert, what happened with Gilbert? I think he's making a start later on. Did they push him into this upcoming week? Don't exactly know what went down on that. But like I said, I'll do just like a general dump of the stuff that I looked at this week, man. I love how John Boy does the AL and the NL breakdown. So I want to start implementing that into the weekly walk-off here. But some of the stuff that jumped out was Keller's complete game shutout. We also had a Nate Eovaldi complete game shutout, I want to say. Bryce Miller looking good in Detroit. We had Yuri Perez debut, 20 years old and 27 days. The Mets are still struggling, lost 2 of 3 to the Reds. CJ Morel called up to the Cubs and has 3 home runs already in his first week. Absolutely insane. Casey Schmidt on the Giants. 2 home runs, had a homer in his debut. Let's go. Excited for him and the future of the Giants' third base position. We got the Dodgers and Padres squaring off here in LA this weekend. Mullins hit for the cycle, and that is a few of the things on my radar. Let me see here. Brandon Marsh. Yeah, man, look, Brandon Marsh is off to a hot start. We could talk about some of that stuff too. Here we go. The Boston boys. Let's bring them on in.
Yo.
Boston in the house.
I didn't know we were already live. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I was sticking to the time. I was just like jump on whenever.
Good host. Good host. How's the mic?
We were
Sound
busy.
good?
We were busy watching Tatum go nuts.
Oh man. What's he at right now? He was at 34 or 37 when I last saw.
He went over 50.
Yeah, was it 51? Was that the final or 54?
I think it was. Most
is it a wrap?
Game 7 all time.
Is it a wrap?
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Wow. Congrats, man. Congrats to the Celtics. You love to see that. Celtics moving forward to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Now, as a Celtics fan in LA and Eric as a fellow LA resident, how do you feel about Celtics Lakers?
I love Celtics Lakers, baby. Let's go.
We gunning for that? Okay.
I think so. I think it's got, I mean, like, everyone wants that. I mean, actually, nobody wants that except for Celtics Lakers, but the media wants it.
And are we confirming that we're going to go to a game when it's Celtics Lakers in LA?
Yeah, we should.
So rare.
So rare.
Listening?
I was talking to my buddy about that. He's a huge Celtics fan too, and he was saying, you know, like what's the cost? You know, like what's to get in the door? How much would you pay? We're like 400, 500. Like I don't know. That's a pricey ticket, but also once in a lifetime type of thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Are you gonna try to go if it is?
I'm not going to pay an insane amount of money for it, no.
Yeah.
But if I stumble into tickets, which probably won't happen, then I'd entertain it.
There we go. Boys, we got a big game tonight. We got the Sox and the Cards, a night game in Fenway on a Sunday.
Yeah,
I love it.
Following 2 absolutely brutal losses. Just the last 2 nights being a Red Sox fan has been very unkind.
You want to talk about it? Have some therapy sesh going right now. I traded in my Kenley Jansen today, and so rare.
Man, I would have been better off not starting a reliever in my pro lineup this week because he's got me negative points at this point. So luckily it didn't cost me too much. I mean, maybe a T4, T5, but the Philly stack did not work out in Colorado.
Yeah, it feels like he just ran out of gas after getting 400. Just put it all into that.
I mean, he was throwing 97, 98 in Atlanta for that, which is not what he throws. And I mean, just zero command. And then one of the weirdest at-bats any of us have seen so far this year with the pitch clock. I don't know if you watched the whole 9th inning last night, but the at-bat against Contreras was implementing a little gamesmanship by kind of waiting right until the 8-second mark to step into the box. And as it turns out, you're not even allowed to come to the set until the batter has given you his attention, which I think is ridiculous. Of course you can't throw the ball, but why can't you be ready to throw a ball? The whole spirit of this thing is to move quicker. So they're penalizing him for being ready. I don't get it. It was a frustrating at bat to watch, but ultimately it wasn't the reason they lost. They lost because he couldn't find the plate. So tough back-to-back blown saves for Kenley there.
That was a tough one. One of the things going through my brain was just like, man, like being a baseball fan, right? Like can sometimes be tough, right? Those games, those heartbreaking games. But imagine being a fan, going to a game, watching that Chris Sale, like beautiful performance, and then all coming down to like it's such an emotional roller coaster. You're going in at a high into the 9th inning, and then it just comes crashing down.
I mean, Sale's a piece worth talking about too. We can save it till we get into So Rare a little more, but man, has he looked good.
Oh yeah,
he's back.
He is back.
Before you guys got here, I vomited a bunch of stuff on the screen about like what I saw over the past week. A few of those things that I did throw out there was Yuri Perez debut, Casey Schmidt debut, some complete game shutouts, Keller, Evaldi, Bryce Miller looking good, the Mets looking terrible. CJ Morel called back up, 3 homers already. You guys see anything fun this week?
I mean, the Evaldi, just a little additional note there, 3 straight starts of 8 innings or more. So just not something you see in today's baseball. I thought that was pretty cool. Josh Naylor and Luis Robert are each on 3-game home run streaks. They've each homered in their last 3. I was just noticing that. I have Robert which didn't have him in the right lineup, but that piqued my interest. So yeah, some individual performances there.
Nice. We got Brendan in the chat. Fernando Tatis breakout weekend. Greg, did you catch any games in LA?
Not this weekend, but next Sunday, Padres, Sox. I'm going down to San Diego.
Wow, nice.
So I will live remote from the game again.
Hopefully you catch more innings this time.
I know.
Catch any innings of Dodger baseball this week.
Yeah, nice 2-inning game that I saw. But no, I mean the one thing I don't think we talked about it last week, but I feel like it happened last week was Wander Franco's little toss to himself.
Oh yeah.
We did fail to talk about that.
Yes.
And I know it made it into Candies this week in baseball, and just like brought up a lot of questions about the unwritten rules, but I'm all for it. Make it look as flashy as you can, because I kept thinking about what happens if he drops that. It's a risk. If he's willing to take the risk, hell yeah.
So you like that play?
I liked it as a fan. I liked it. I can't imagine what the other team feels like, but
Eric, what do you think?
I actually didn't see it, sadly enough. I heard about it all on a podcast, but I was not visual audio when I had heard about that and everything go down, and then I forgot to look it up.
Pull it up. I'm all for flashy baseball. Like, pimp your home runs, celebrate your strikeouts in big spots. Like, I'm for it. So I'm not anti flashy baseball by any means. That being said, I didn't think that there was anything cool about what he did. I thought that it was ridiculous. It was like why?
Wait, what?
Just they'll probably zoom it in. I would hope. Yeah, here we go.
Nope.
To me, I don't know.
I thought it was going to be
quadruple clutch it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it just wasn't anything special, and I thought that the reaction to it was that it was so cool, and I just didn't think it was that cool. So, do I really care that he did it on like a gamesmanship level? No, but I just didn't even think that it was cool.
Yeah,
I like the you ever seen the behind the leg like double play turn ball from a shortstop where they kind of like go behind the legs and toss it over? I like that.
Look at they classified it as an assist here. That's funny.
That is
assist. Funny. I'm with you. I don't think it's that cool, but I respect the risk. I respect the risk that he took. Yeah. Throwing it another 6 inches too high might have been too much time to get the out. Like, imagine the fallout if he didn't get the out.
I know.
That's what I like thinking about, and that's why I'm like, if you're gonna do it, good for you, man. But the day that you can't do that, or the day that you mess that up, it's tough.
He had barehanded. Didn't he have a barehanded catch against the Yankees too? What was that? A barehanded catch? I don't know. Maybe it was not. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe they showed an old highlight or something. But I was watching the Rays Yankees game, and they might have shown an old highlight on that. The FC Porto players watching the Blue Jays live. Blue Jays live. I mean, I'm getting jealous of that weather that they're getting in Toronto. It just looks beautiful out there with the roof open at Rogers Center, and it looked amazing. They have the Yankees in town for a 4-game series this upcoming week. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a really fun one. But yeah. Let me see what else we got here.
I just want to shout out how naturally we just weaved in Candy as a replay. I feel like that hasn't been done before. Let's call it that thing. Yeah, no Googling, nothing. We just
plays of the week.
Shout out Candy.
Do you have that one?
No, I mean,
okay.
The floor looks like there's still 7 wrapped. The floor is $118. None have sold for that price, but
yeah.
What rarity was that one?
It's a rare.
It's a rare. So what's that, down to 20 now? That's actually worth discussing, is how drastically Candy just adjusted the plays of the week.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Nice.
But we can say that for the Candy seg.
Yeah, let's save that. Let's jump in, I guess, to
keep us in line, Eric.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you guys are rogue. It's impossible.
We're gonna wander.
I can only do my best. Let's take a look at I guess the upcoming game week. Like we said in the past on this show, we'll probably do 2 upcoming game weeks so that people picking up the episode on a Wednesday, Thursday still have plenty to look forward to and plenty of relevance going into it. A thing that I did mention before you guys jumped on is how we always typically tend to take a look at the A's run differential and how's that going. So maybe we can take a look at that.
What is the weekly update here?
There we go.
Oh,
Negative.
down from 121 last week, I believe, or 120. Wow, they're just at least they're consistent. Not quite to 10 wins. That's exciting. 16 games back. Wow.
I can't remember if I mentioned this last week, but I was reading an article about the historic pace that the bottom quarter of the league is at right now in terms of poor performance. And it's easy to forget how relevant the A's were just a few short years ago, along with some of these other teams that are just terrible. Like St. Louis, you weren't expecting them to look like this. I mean, Kansas City is brutal. I don't remember the exact statistics, but they looked at the bottom 8 teams through the first 33 games of the year, whatever the snapshot was that they were taking, and it was among the top 3 worst starts in the history of the MLB in terms of the performance, both with wins and I think run production and runs allowed. Just really, really bad.
Yeah,
That's
I will say based on these standings and something that I think we're starting to see, we're in the beginning of it, but it looks like things are starting to slowly get to where I think people expected them to. Who was it? The Phillies. The Phillies are now back up in second place. I think people expect the Mets to usurp that, but Houston climbing. Is that a 3-way tie for second place in the AL West?
It is.
Whoa.
Things are tight. Things are tight in the AL West, AL East.
But
Pittsburgh 1-9 over the last 10.
Oh,
yeah,
that sucks.
That hurts. And then I forget if you guys sent it or what, but looking at the AL East into the NL or the AL Central.
Yeah,
and how it's just
perfect order.
It's just a one.
Is it still like that?
I think so. Sox and
yep, it is. There you go.
Tied. Oh wait, hit refresh.
Let me see here.
And watch the AL East.
AL East. There we go.
All right, thank you. Sox no longer in last place. Yankees.
So technically Minnesota a half game better than the Yankees at this point. But yeah, the other day it was perfectly in alignment where top to bottom, East Central. Yeah. You don't see that every year.
Who do the Sox have the early half of this week?
That is a good question.
Let me see here.
Is it Seattle? No.
Yes, you're right. It's Seattle.
Seattle?
It is Seattle. Yep.
In Fenway, right?
Seattle at Fenway, and then they come out to San Diego. Nice.
Yep. San Diego and Anaheim.
That's some good baseball. Good week of baseball.
That'll be fun. We got a lot of good matchups. Should we pull up? Let's pull up our group standings. Throw up your cycle for Cedric Mullins.
That's right. Here.
Let me see here. Hydro, is this a good time to ask about questions about getting players? Yeah, fire them away. We're gonna jump into the Sorare stuff in like 2 minutes here. We'll look at upcoming game week stuff. We'll pull up Sorare charts and top players and all that kind of stuff. But go ahead and throw them in the chat. I saw you had put in there, I think, about let me see here. Goldschmidt. Somebody put up about Goldschmidt. Yeah, throw everything in the chat. Go for it, guys. We'll get to them.
So you swap the screen, and everything should be updated here, with the exception of any games that have finished in the last 10 minutes. Nate, you're climbing back,
closing the gap, grabbing a cycle.
Yeah. What I love about this is that truly, it's all evening out. Mm-hmm. Run differential was so extreme in the beginning, but it's all just squishing us together ahead of the playoffs.
I was thinking about us today, Greg, the Yankees and Rays series. I was thinking about that one.
Yeah. I know. I think about this all the time because I'm like, I just have a reason to care about the other scores out of the AL East, even out of the American League. I have a slight reason to care, which brings me to my next point. What are we playing for? Before this gets out of hand, we should probably put some stakes on this thing.
Oh, let's do it. I thought the loser had to eat a hot dog at Oakland Coliseum.
I'll take that.
No,
It's way
we won't.
easier for you guys to execute.
Yeah. Let's put some thought into it. We'll take recommendations from the chat, but we'll circle back on that next week. But I agree. Before it gets too crazy,
I'm gonna need a spread though. That's at this point.
Yeah. So anyway, looking good. Yeah, I mean, obviously the A's run differential. I feel like this is going to be something all season. Just will the Rays run differential be enough to cancel out the A's? And currently, that is incorrect.
Man, the another thing. I mean, the Blue Jays. We'll share screen here too, but not the Blue Jays. The Rays keep on getting hurt with injuries. Man, Rasmussen done for the season, right?
I know he went on the 60-day. I didn't read closely what the full outlook is.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. We get a question. Should I buy Salvador Perez? Salvi's looking good. I mean, I had him. I bought him at $7. Was going to sell him at one point, but wanted him for a lineup. And then I did not end up selling him. And now I'm not going to. So I like him at that $7 value. I had pulled up Evaldi because he said he's gone 3 straight games with 8+ innings. And there he is at $12. Like that has now become not a streaming option, but a value option where you can count on him as a solid starter for this season. Let me see here.
He's definitely, I was looking at him right before we went live. He's definitely intriguing at $12. But the thing to remember is like, it's all, you got to compare it. Like what are you sacrificing instead, right? Would you rather bet that Evaldi's going to keep doing that, or would you rather go get Aaron Nola for $12, who is underperforming and has upside the rest of the year? So to me, I'm going Nola between those two if I'm buying a guy that I'm holding for the next 4 or 5 months to play. But at the same time, you need more than one pitcher, so it's not like there's that you can't have both. So definitely, you see a guy go 3 straight, 8 innings plus, not a bad bet to make.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, I mean, there's other guys out there under $5. I have a couple streaming options that I'll share for like, the $5 to $10 range that are great. I'll move DJ Local's comment so we can see Greg's face in just a second.
No worries.
But he makes a good point here. At $10, I probably would not buy Salvi right now. Fermin, who did he just debut? I know he hit his first home run, but Melendez is in the outfield, so I'm not really worried about him splitting time at catcher at all. But Salvador does take some days off, but he plays DH too. So I don't know. I like this. I think it's buying high right now. Maybe wait for it to come down a little bit is what I would kind of maybe suggest there.
Back to Evaldi real quick. So as someone who got Evaldi a month ago for $5,
nice.
Now the time to flip.
It kind of depends on what you're doing, right? Like if you feel like you have lineups where he helps you be competitive, then I mean, you got a great useful card for $6, and if he keeps doing it, he could be $20 in a couple weeks. So it depends on what other options you have. It depends on what your objectives are. So I think that there's no right or wrong answer, and I think that's what's so much fun about having the utility attached to it. It makes it a really difficult decision because they're both good options. One is that you get a card that's worth way more than you paid for it in terms of the game value, but then at the same time, take that $12, sell it, and grab a Nola instead. I wouldn't argue with that method either.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Greg, and I really love this conversation too because it's something that's been on my mind as we're going to talk about some of the best buys that we've had this year. I've thought the same thing with guys like Matt Chapman, who I bought for like $3.66 in the offseason. Like, could I sell him for what he's at right now? Yeah, but like I bought him for $3. He's already proved his value. Is he going to go back down to $3? Probably not. But will he go lower? Can I take some profit now? Yes, probably. But he was a $3 card. I'm going to continue to use him. Same with a guy like Sean Murphy, who I picked up for $7 before the season, and now he's up. I think it depends. Like for me right now, I like having the depth. If I was, not trying to fill out as many lineups, go a little bit smaller, then cool. But I'm, it's a long season ahead. So
for sure. Yeah. Something we're going to come up against quite a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I just got some a little bit of a boost here in the Rare National League. Canna's had a little bit of a resurgence right there. Let me see here. Let's take a look at some of the anything that you guys want to look at. So some of the top players last week, Mitch Keller, Bassett looked amazing, Joe Ryan, there's Sale right up there.
Mm-hmm.
Freeland, which we're giving away at the end of here. Keller has been a steal for sure. D got Nola for $10. Let's see here. What players are you guys looking at or own around the $10 to $20 range? You guys got any in mind?
I mean, there's a lot of, in terms of starting pitchers, there's a lot of good options right now. Guys that aren't like tearing it up. I already said Nola, Bieber falls in there, Wheeler falls in there.
Musgrove got at 9. He was a streaming option that I liked.
So there's good starting pitcher options there. I think that let's see who else. I mean, I'm always looking for guy like on the bat side of things. I'm looking for power. We've talked about this. You get 16 points for a solo shot, add 3 points for each additional base runner. That makes your game right there, right? So guys like, I picked up a Willie Adames a couple days ago. Hasn't really panned out this game week, but I grabbed him for 16. Power bat there. Christian Walker has been on a bit of a tear, but he's sitting there right around $20. I grabbed, he's going to be up because he just hit 3 straight home runs, but he's not too far off. Luis Robert sitting right around $20.
Okay.
And
let me see here. Oh, sorry. Shared Greg's screen.
No worries. I was going to say this might be a fun thing to do exercise wise, just setting the max price to 20.
Yeah.
And just seeing on this list who we would go for.
When it comes to bats, right? Those are guys that I'm willing to pay a little bit more for, like that $15 to $20 range. I really like that price point. When it comes to pitchers, I've backed off of that a little bit. I would rather have 2 pitchers at $5 that I can play because they're not pitching every single game week, and their variance is a little bit less. And it's a lot of times it could be matchup dependent, depending on who you're going after. I really like some of the guys in the $5 to $10 range that just give you solid innings. I mean, like we got one of my better buys was Erod at $3 this year. His rare was at 17, and I'm kicking myself for not getting it. But right now his limit is 10, and I got it for 3. So guys like that, Domingo Germán is $5 right now. You see here, Ashcraft is still at $5. Josiah Gray, I like the streaming option potentially this week at $3. Just a few of those guys. It's always good to have pitching options. You can throw them in there as a starter if they're decent enough. Like you can throw them in there at the flex option, and like kind of have them be a stable guy as opposed to kind of if you have a bat that you're really not sure about. At least they're going to put up a 15 to 20 number would be nice.
All right, let's pull up Hydro's comment. The $5 to $12 range for position players. So I'll bump this down to 12.
You're going to filter by highest average score?
Plug $5 in for the minimum there.
Morel 3 home runs already. I had him as a reward from last year. He was hovering around like the $3 or $4 range. I wonder what he's going to go up to when he gets playing more regularly.
What is the highest average score based off of? The last week? Do we know?
No, because Duvall was in there just a second ago, so this has to be a season long.
But is it? I think it's off of. Oh yeah, okay.
But I wonder if you can.
No, I think it's based off of the last like X number of games played.
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know if it's. I think it might be last 5 season average score. Where a good place to look at this might be is on Sorare data. Let me see here. I have a screen pulled up right now that I can pull up real quick.
It's definitely still fairly primitive to try and navigate to try and make educated decisions on your buys. You kind of have to go elsewhere and then come back to So Rare to buy it, which I'm not particularly complaining because I kind of like friction when it comes to games like this. You know,
Yep.
Greg, you've made comments like this before, and I certainly feel like that with anything. I look at it as an advantage for anyone that's willing to do that one extra step. But yeah, the sorting features could use a little bit of polish.
For sure. I mean, they made
Agreed,
the
yeah.
adjustment where they stack it up now, but then you have to kind of go back and forth, to the marketplace when you're looking again, as opposed to, because it shows you the top price on this year's card, not the last year's card. So you always want to go in and see what the last year's card looks like, right?
Yep.
So
it's definitely, they continue to make steps in the right direction. Like you see good improvements almost every week. So that is certainly promising. But yeah, in terms of actually gathering like how a player is doing, it's a little bit tough to navigate on here.
Yeah.
Here's some that DJ local like Morel and Nate Lowe.
Yep.
Nate Lowe I got for $8, and that's another one that I was saying too. It's like that guy's gonna rake. He produces and puts up numbers all the time. So I could sell him now, but I got him for $8. Like I just would rather play him, and like the more you play him and put him into lineups, the better. Like the more value you get out of that, the more utility you get out of that.
Yeah, I won him as a reward a few weeks ago and chose to keep him because he fit that profile, the type of guy that I wanted to hold on to.
Nice. Yelich and Rizzo were good ones too. I mean, like Yelich, he had a massive week. Don't know, like in general, like I'm not really keeping tabs on him throughout the season quite yet. But Rizzo is, I think, one of the most undervalued guys. Like I've been, I think he's like $15 or something right now. He's going to produce. The Yankees are turning it around, looking better day by day. Plus he's got the short porch out there. Let me see here. What about, let's see here. Should we go over, you want to take a look at the tiers and see what those look like? This was actually a recommendation from somebody in the chat or in the Discord. Join the Discord, hit subscribe if you guys haven't already, but they wanted to take a look at the current tiers and kind of get some recommendations, and we'll just do it off the cuff. We haven't really prepped for this or anything, but we'll take a look at tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and just quickly shout out some guys that could downgrade from tier 1 to tier 2, and then look at tier 2, some guys who can upgrade and downgrade. Tier 3, just guys who can upgrade. So this helps in swap situations when you're doing your daily swaps.
Yeah, and then we can do what I'm going to force a weekly segment of, which is help me with my daily swap.
Yeah. We'll get after that. On your guys' end, I picked up a Yoshida on a swap, right? Who did I trade in for that? I had they gave me some T1 or something.
Oh, you sent this. Yeah, you sent this.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but I picked up Yoshida, and then I gave away Jansen. And I got Estevez, the Angels closer. So, All right, so tier 1, I could see Riley downgrading to a tier 2 if he keeps up the slump. I mean, he's generally a tier 1 guy, MVP candidate, but he's not doing great right now. Let me see here. Can you guys see this all right? Let me see if I can jump it in.
I think one thing worth noting that I've just noticed as like a general concept is that pitchers are a lot more volatile. And it goes back to kind of what you just said, Eric, which is that you have to start at least 5 hitters. And a lot of times people are starting 6. You only have to start 1 pitcher, and he can only pitch 1 out of every 2 game weeks. Yep. So the ability for a guy to like guys like Nola, Bieber, those guys being $10 is a product of that. I had Nola and Wheeler in common as tier 2s that I'm kicking myself for holding on to for so long, because now they're down in tier 3 and I have no option to swap them out. So I'm just riding it out. So definitely hitters in general are the safer guys to lock onto and hold on to, because that price movement is, people are a little bit more willing to give a longer leash on a big bat.
For sure. I agree. A couple things here. Thoughts on Bailey Olber. I like Olber. His stuff looks really good. I think he's a buy like low before everybody finds out about him right now. And then Brendan wants to show how I get into the player tiers. I'll do that real quick right here as we keep on going. But that's a great point about the pitchers. That's why it's like I'm completely fine swapping out tier 3, tier 4 bats, and I always go for a starting pitcher because you have that depth, those options to play matchups in that regard. So, Brennan, to find the tiers, what you'll do, or anybody out there watching out there, you go to play, go to live or upcoming, and just click into a competition. Then you look at the let me see here, the reward tiers on the side right here, and just click in on that. So that'll give you the list of people who come into that common tier 1, tier 2, and they are different for limited, rare as well. So keep that in mind out there. But here are the current common tier 1s, and you can filter all that stuff out between the different rarities and then the different tiers. So Volpe's been super fun to watch. Let me see if there's any pitchers in here. I think McClanahan was in there. So like you were saying, Nate, like those type of guys could downgrade to tier 2s pretty easily.
Yeah.
McClanahan, Gallen, stuff like that.
All this conversation has made me realize that. So I won Garrett Cole as a tier 1. I got a tier 1 in my common all-star lineup last week, and I need to get rid of him. I need to go swap him to a bat. Like he's exciting to hold on to, and he's got a ton of upside, but I've got Framber Valdez, Nola, among other. I've got Ohtani as well. So really no reason to keep him when we're really only playing one true common contest a week, because I'm actively trying to not win the minors contest so that I can keep farming tier 2 and tier 3s.
Yes, I like that a lot. Let's take a look at some tier 2s. Greg, queue up your swap if you got it ready. We can pipe that in here in a little bit. Let's take a look at these tier 2s that could potentially bump up to a tier 1 or maybe even down to a tier 3. So as more cards get released, as this guy gets more innings under his belt, Bryce Elder, tier 3. I mean, like we've seen a lot of these rookie cards come down in a tier solely based on supply, right? I mean, that's happened quite a bit. Correa's, come up to a tier 2 from a tier 3. A lot of those twins are starting to heat up. Some more arms in here that could be staying or going down. Ruiz has been insane. He's been so much fun.
Surprised about Joe Ryan. I guess he had a bad start last week, right? Because he just demolished today or yesterday.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's where'd you see him in tier 2? Yeah, tier 2 seems pretty solid for him. I mean, there was only really 3 pitchers up in tier 1. Shane McClanahan, Strider. Don't even know if there was any others.
That's a good point.
Colt.
Oh yeah, Garrett Cole was up there. You're right. Yeah,
I think Adames could fall out of tier 2. He goes on cold streaks, strikes out a lot. I think that who else did I see in there? Scroll up a little bit. Oh, Schwarber, I think, could go back up quickly if he gets hot. He's the kind. He's built for these types of competitions. So if he gets things going, Kelenick's been back. Or how do you say that? Kelenic? I don't even know how to say Jared Kelenic.
Kelenic.
He's kind of been bouncing back and forth, streaky.
Nolan Gorman's been hot against the lowly Red Sox.
He has. He's back. Chapman's been a little bit streaky too. What do you guys think about Murphy with Travis d'Arnaud coming back? Like how much do you think that's going to hurt his stock in So Rare specifically, just based on usage and playing time? Because I mean, he was lighting the world on fire when it came to just having him in the lineup as at bats. They were using Tromp in there as a catcher and just leaving Murphy at DH, but yeah.
I mean, he's cooled off a bit, but he's still producing those So Rare type games that you're looking for, right? He's still a power guy. Went 3 for 4 a couple nights ago. I don't know. That it's a tough one. Not a guy that any of us expected to be doing what he has done up to this point.
Yeah. I could see guys like Yandy Diaz, Vinny, Will Smith eventually making it up to that tier 1.2. I mean, those guys are they're just hitters, Teoscar sitting right here. I got Teoscar on a nice little deal. I think a buy low deal on auction this week. $50 for a rare Teoscar. So
this week too, because he's heating up.
yeah, he just hit one yesterday. I don't know if he did today or not, but he is heating up a little bit. We'll take a quick look at tier threes. Just glance over it. Ooh, Nola down there.
Wow,
at tier
Nola's
three.
a T3, yeah.
Yeah, Kirilloff. We know Aaron Borland likes Kirilloff and those twins.
Yeah.
Had a huge week against the Cubbies.
Rizzo
in the T3. Yep.
And Marsh.
Yep.
Brandon Lau could go back up if he ever figures out how to hit again.
Varsha,
scooped him for my fantasy team at the worst time.
Devin Williams has been devastating. Like, he's been good when he pitches, but he just isn't pitching. Like, there haven't been those save ops. He's killing me. I mean, God, reliever is so damn frustrating. It's so frustrating. It is such a brutal position in this game.
It's so terrible. You know, like I'm almost at the point where it's like last time I have two relievers that I got for one of them as a reward, one of them for under $10. And of course, the one that I chose, like put up like a 4 or something like that. The other guy got 30. And that may not have been this week. I think I made the right choice with Hunter Harvey this week instead of Carl Edwards Jr. But I mean, like you got to play when it comes to playing, like this is a rare strategy, right? So when it comes to playing in rare lineups, one of your two pitchers has to be a rare. So it's 4 rare cards and 1 rare pitcher. So it's like, you know, what do you put in when you're spending more money on certain lineups? Like, is it worth it to go with a $5 to $10 reliever, or, you know, do you strategize that limited reliever in that limited slot and put a $10 to $15 starter in there? That's kind of like what I've been back and forth with on a weekly basis. But there's some good stuff here down in T3. Like definitely guys, like I would go for T3 pitchers. Like look, Logan Webb's down there. He puts up a good game every single week. So if you're swapping out stuff, take a look at these tiers first, find out what position you need. And then what I do is just see the most of that position that I would want. And I would try to swap it out for that.
Yep. Nate Eovaldi sitting there at T3. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this a couple days ago. We were all comparing our rewards and stuff. And I got a T3 Domingo Herman, however you say that. And in a tier where I could have gotten Aaron Nola, that's tough, right?
Yeah.
But it also, on the common swap side of the equation, I think that we've kind of found a sweet spot to go look for your pitchers. If you've got tier 3 cards, turn those into pitchers, and then take your tier 2s, tier 1s, and turn those into bats. That seems to be the best bet as far as we can tell with the common structure.
Yep.
All right.
Let's take a look at the swap. We're about 10 minutes, 5 minutes away from the giveaway. We'll pipe it in the chat. Let me see here. We'll pick 2 winners and let's get a word. We're giving away. So while we're doing this, I'll let people start jumping in the chat with the giveaway stuff. Let me see here. You guys got a word you want to pick for the Sox this week? We're giving away a Bayo and we're giving away a Freeland.
Ooh. I don't want to say Kenley.
I'd be lying if it didn't pop into my head.
I know.
Hashtag 400.
Hashtag 400. What?
Kenley's 400 save.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
Maybe his last save.
Yeah, he may have a clean 400 on the career.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go.
I mean, James threw it out there. I feel like you just got to go Bucky Dent.
I said Bucky Dent.
Can't believe it. You know, there's like a movie coming out about that, or a movie called Bucky fucking Dent with David Duchovny. Yeah, I just read about it. It's like David Duchovny. I don't know how much it's going to overlap with baseball, but it's certainly going to play a role.
Thanks, James. All right, throw it in the chat, guys. Hashtag Bucky Dent, BUCKYDENT. That is the word. There's also a new Yogi Berra movie coming out that I want to watch too.
Anyway, all right. I have an abundance of arms. I feel like I just got to swap out one of these.
Yeah, based on everything we just said, there is an obvious call here for me, and it's Shane Bieber, because he is sitting at a floor of like just $1 or $2 above Nola, etc. I think that he could easily drop down into tier 3 with one bad start. It's not that I don't like Bieber. I like Bieber. I have his limited holding on to it, but just based on everything we talked about, I think you turn Bieber into a bat because you've got a lot of arms there.
Let's do it.
You do have a lot of arms there, man. Yeah, you have a lot of good arms. God,
So
nice too.
I guess a corner infielder.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go for a relief pitcher, but
corner.
boring.
I'd get a bat.
The corner infield's where all the big bats are, anyways.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that's where my mind typically goes to first.
Oh, there's Riz. Oh man, I feel like it's
are these are tier 2s? Yeah, I guess so.
There sometimes they give you tier 3s. I think they stick general price range.
Okay.
Yeah. I have 2 guys in here that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Rizzo's one of them.
I think you're going to say Rizzo and Tellez, and I actually would add Vaughn to the equation too, because I actually think that he's got exciting upside.
He's thrilled.
Definitely not Hayes.
Yeah. All right. Rizzo's playing the Blue Jays this week. Vaughn is playing the Guardians.
Vaughn is playing that was one of the good matchups that I had coming up for next week.
I like
Chicago Whites in game week 15, the White Sox and Kansas City. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
kind of like that.
Look at DJ Local says Rizzoli has a 4-game week.
I think.
But it's fool's gold. It's Yankees versus the Jays.
Wow.
I was actually going to talk about that because it's one of those 2 teams are 2 of 7, I think, that have 4-game game week, and you got to take it with a grain of salt because it could end badly with those two pitching staffs.
Yeah.
Sure.
You also have to think too, like when you're swapping out, like, are you looking for a guy to play this week, or are you looking for a guy that's going to be a stable guy like all season long? Like I just like Rizzo for those reasons. Like I feel like he's going to produce in that lineup. He's going to play every single day.
Get hit by 5 pitches a week.
Yeah,
but he's also a damn Yankee.
Yeah, that's true. I'm in. Let's do it.
Do it,
Rizzo. Nice.
Done.
He was better as a Cub. I agree with you.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you. That is this week in Greg not knowing who to swap.
I like that Pasquantino card you got there.
That is nice.
Yeah. I actually that was from a swap actually recently. I forget who I let go, but
he's been hot. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Super fun to watch. I was about to buy him on the secondary for a rare. Did not. He got swooped up. Now his price is to the moon. So that'll happen. Let's do some rapid fire game week. Maybe we don't have time to do our best buys. Maybe we can punt that to next week. Already kind of talked about a couple of them, but maybe we do some rapid fire like game week 14 and then move over to game week 15.
Before we do that, what was your top offseason buy? I know that you listed off a couple before, but what's the one that you feel like was the biggest?
The biggest I thought was I got Chapman for $3.70.
And what's he like a $40 limited right now?
No, he's probably in the $22 range right now. Let me take a look.
All right, that's pretty comparable to what I was going to say for mine, which is Castellanos. Got him for $6, and he's in the mid-20s right now.
Okay, so Chapman has gone down to 17. He's definitely been slumping a little bit lately.
Yeah, he's cooled off a bit.
Castellanos. The other one was Murphy. I got for Murphy's up there now. Murphy's up at 24. I got him for $7.
I wish there was a way to see the floor when you click on the cards.
Yeah. The true floor. It tells you the 2023 floor,
which is always inflated.
Yeah.
So it's almost useless.
Yeah.
It is interesting how some guys their 22s and their 23s trade at extremely close prices and others are way off. Like, I'll just throw one buy low out there right now that I like. I just grabbed one yesterday or today, is Manny Machado.
Oh yeah.
And I submitted an offer. I got him for like 33, but his 23s are going for anywhere between 40 and $50 still.
Yep.
It's just, there's no reason for that type of gap. And I don't understand it. I really don't.
For sure. Yeah, that's a big one too. Like, I mean, look at this one right here too. This was one of my streaming options for the week. I was doing some research before the show, like what streamers kind of give away a little bit. This Graham Ashcraft, $15 floor for the 2023s. Take a look at the 2022s.
Yep.
$5.58.
Well, like, click on him and see what the last 5 sales have been. Because maybe there's just none available, but it's when they're actually moving at the, see, so they're still moving around similar price points when they do ultimately move, whereas the Machados are literally moving at 40, $50 for the, like, public offer 2 days ago for $52 on Machado 23, and then an hour ago one sold for $35 on a public offer for a 22. It just doesn't, like, that's crazy.
Zero on the market for 2023s right now.
$17 spread on those 2 sales. It's the same card. The 2%, 3% it's not moving the needle that much.
Agreed.
Before we move on, we should pull up Hydro's comment.
Let's do it.
Does it make more sense to get 3 players that are on the same team, a stack, or do you think it's better to get 3 just solid hitters, planning to keep them long term?
Both.
Yeah.
3 solid hitters on the same team.
Yes.
And then just play them when they're playing the A's.
It's go ahead.
Okay, so here's my answer to that. I think it depends on how deep you're able to have your gallery, right? Like, if you're looking at that question with a limited, like, okay, like, I need to get into this and I'm in this for the long term. Like, look, I understand that it's not going to pop off every single week, but I want to get a solid lineup in every single week. You get the 3 best hitters, right? That's where I think from there you can kind of build and sprinkle in those stacks a little bit. So, like, if you're looking at somebody like a Randy Arozarena, and then you want to sprinkle in like a Harold Ramirez or a Paredes or somebody like that, that's a little bit lower cost, you can start building stacks around those guys in the right strategic weeks when there's favorable matchups. But in general, to that question, I go three best hitters in general. But, you know, if you then again at the same time, if you got like $25 to spend, and there's a good option with players that you can fit that budget with on the same team, then that makes a little bit of sense too. You know, what do you think?
I'm still trying to figure out my opinion on this. I go back and forth. I've gotten myself in trouble getting too cute with matchups over just player performance. I think that ultimately having at least like mini stacks in a lineup, like 2 or 3 guys from a team, is really beneficial because, you know, if you do get a home run and the other guy's on base, like you're doubling up. You know, Sorare scoring system is really built to amplify things that happen. It's not subtle scoring at all. If you do something well, you get rewarded heavily for it. So having that extra 3 points from a guy scoring and, you know, being on base and the RBI. But at the end of the day, a good player over the course of a season is going to have more good weeks than a bad player on a stack. So if you're trying to get as many cashes, you know, anywhere from a T5 up throughout the season, I agree with you. You go and you're on a limited budget, you're going with just the better players overall. But I would say that if you're just submitting the same lineup all season, you're more likely to get a first place finish out of submitting a stack every time, because at some point those teams are going to run into a bad opponent and it's just going to click that night and you're going to get everything that you need out of a 15-run, 18-run game. So I think that you're more likely to cash consistently with the better players. You're more likely to really put up a monster score at least once throughout the season with the stack.
That's a great answer.
Yeah,
that's a great answer. I have nothing to add in the Sorare context, but I will say I read an article once that, like, on FanDuel or DraftKings, it was like 75 to 85% of finishes were stacks. First place finishes, that is, were stacks. And I know it's not a 1-to-1, and that stat is also probably very wrong, but from my memory, but it was like an overwhelming amount of the first place finishes were based on stacks. But to Nate's point, that's not going to win you every week.
Yeah.
There's two things that I like about Sorare significantly more than daily fantasy. And one of them, Eric, you stated, which is the lack of multi submissions, right? You can only put one lineup in. And I know that there are DFS contests where you can only put one in, but that's the only way on Sorare. Love that. And then the other piece is that the length of the contest, 3 or 4 days, is a really nice way to have just a big enough sample size that you can bet on a player doing well against a certain team, and it doesn't have to come down to that one specific game against that one specific pitcher. There's just enough for it to play out if you get it right. I love both of those pieces.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. Hopefully, Hydra, that answered your question, but you can't answer that, completely straightforward. I like to find value and build, I always say, don't spend all your money at once. Like, you're going to want it at another point, whether it's for a streaming pitcher, whether it's for a bat that takes a dip. Like, you can buy somebody. I mean, like a guy like Arenado, he was dipping a while ago, like he got down to pretty low range. A guy like Seager gets hurt. You can pick up Seager, and then guess what? He's back, and Seager hopefully goes on a tear. And the people who were, liquid and bought him low just got a great buy, both long-term and immediate for those lineups. So that's fun. That's the fun stuff, man. That's the strategy part. Should we pick a winner for this?
Greg, I think you're muted.
One more comment. Sorry, there's like a video game party in the other room. I'm trying to save you guys from. One more comment that we have to acknowledge before we move on is Brendan's comment. And if you could pull up my screen, I will do the unfortunate honor here.
Drop that run differential, baby.
So here we go. The Rangers are now up to 97.
Who scored those runs? Because I've got
and the A's are now down to 1.
Yeah, I've got man.
Terrible.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my camera on. My camera died. There we go.
So the lead widens for Eric.
There we go.
With that, with Semien and Nate Lowe contributing to that a little bit, that puts me 19 points away from the closest reward in pro, which had I started Devin Williams, who got 16 points instead of Kenley Jansen, who got -3 points, that's exactly 19 points to get into the cash.
That's fun.
It doesn't really matter because it would have been, a T5 at best, but killer.
There we go. Jeff G, good comment here. We're up 40 to 50% in managers since first week of the season. Yet reward thresholds have not changed, making it harder to reach rewards. I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. It's tougher, but it also keeps the supply down, and it's a long season. I actually kind of like low rewards. It's tougher to earn, but then at the same time, like, you want the stuff that you earn to be meaningful and to be liquid when you get it. And I think that's improved a little bit. So we got to get into these rewards. We're running pretty late. There's 17 entries. Throw it in there. Hashtag Bucky Dent. I'll give you one more minute and then we'll pick the winner here. Let's talk some rapid fire stacks going into, and then we got to make our picks. Should we, anything to report on Candy?
You're the only one that has to make a pick.
Yeah. You're the only one. Let us know.
All right. I mean, I hate to do it to you guys.
Do it.
And as much as you may think I hate the Sox, I swear I don't. I like the Sox. I want them to win. I figured you guys would be taking them, so I'm gonna have to.
Oh, he's doing it. Oh, wow!
Baby.
Wow! Well done.
That's gonna cost you a point.
Yeah,
cost you a point.
Yeah.
Because Kenley Jansen can't pitch tonight, so we're good.
Yes.
There we go. I mean, I also have a big Cardinal stack going. I would have played a Red Sox stack too, but I didn't have enough of those guys. But yeah, I had to do it for entertainment purposes. Had to bring out the broom. All right, we're gonna draw 2 of these. First one. What's that?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
First one will be the Freeland. Second one will be the Bellow. Shout out Hud's Dog in the chat. Donated that. You the man. Much appreciated. Much love. Man, we were cooking today.
Sorry, you can hear the video game party behind me, probably.
C123, congratulations.
Kyle Freeland.
Winner of a Kyle Freeland. And then we'll hit draw again for the Bayo.
Ryan Bayo. One of the weirdest names to try and pronounce based on how it's spelled.
Barayan
Bello.
Cool winner.
Cool winners.
Let's go.
I think that's cool winners. Second win, right?
Second dub. Second
It's
dub
the
on
name.
the stream.
In the name.
That's good vibes. That's some good juju right there. What are we looking at? Let's talk some stacks. We didn't even get into stacks for week 14 and week 13. We'll close the episode with that, I guess, for the day.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have the time. I have the time. I don't know if you do. If you wanted to get into candy stuff towards the end here, I'm happy to stay and do that. But we were cooking today. We got the Celtics into the Eastern Conference Finals. It's been a good day, yeah?
I can still stay on for a bit. Whatever you want to do.
All right.
Yeah.
So game week 14, favorable matchups that I have noted: Cincinnati at Colorado, Seattle at Boston. Seattle's pitching is just looking too tough. Boston's got the bats too, but I would edge Seattle out over there. They got a lot of righties too. I mean, like Teoscar, Gino, like lots of righties in that lineup. And then Atlanta at Texas, they have Eovaldi, but other than Eovaldi, I think they have Dunning and who else? Heaney, maybe. Toronto versus the Yankees, even though Garrett Cole's in that lineup. I mean, those guys can hit anybody. Garrett Cole tends to give up some homers every once in a while. Milwaukee at St. Louis, I really like. Big bats, weak rotation. San Diego versus Kansas City. Arizona at Oakland, Tampa Bay Mets. Anything you guys think?
You pretty much covered it there. I would say, like I said before, Yankees, Toronto, you got to be careful with, but it has upside, and it's a 4-game week. Be aware that not that there's a whole lot of firepower in these two teams anyway, but Pittsburgh, Detroit, only 2 games in game week 14. So avoid that.
Nice.
And then the one that is kind of like a middle of the road, not super obvious, but not crazy strong pitching on either side is the Angels at Baltimore. That's a 4-game week. So both of those teams, it's a 4-game series, 4 games apiece, plenty of bats on both sides worth considering, and not a super obvious matchup, but definitely not a crazy pitching staff on either side to overcome.
You have to hit the ball a country mile to left field to hit a home run at Camden Yards.
This is true.
Absolutely. I mean, Mike Trout can hit a ball a literal country mile.
Mm-hmm.
But lefties too. Got a nice porch over there in Camden. DJ Local, please. I would love that. Riley and Olsen are slumping so hard.
Please.
Need Olsen.
Yeah, same.
We didn't even know that this happened while we were live, but Bryce Harper and Jake Bird getting ejected. Little bench clear in Colorado. 7th inning stretch.
Jake Bird.
So it's worth watching the footage because Harper's going a little nuts. No punches thrown. Doesn't look.
But no Hunter Strickland Harper action.
I was so excited for my Philly stack in multiple lineups going into this series, and just to see them get blanked today is like, oh my god, man.
Yeah,
brutal.
There's just not the amount of explosive offense that we thought we were going to see from Philly yet. They're putting it together as a team lately, but I need more.
It's a brutal game. The 4-game teams, the Mets, the Nats, Baltimore, LA Angels, New York Yankees, Toronto, St. Louis, and Dodgers in game week 14. Just a couple of the streaming pitchers. And again, at this point, I don't consider him a streamer, but Erod is $10 versus Pittsburgh. Josiah Gray, who's looked, all right this year, $3 at Miami. And then Ashcraft at Colorado, $5.
Game week 15. Let me jump into that.
Yeah, go for it.
So kind of the higher price ones, I've got Houston versus Oakland, Yankees at Cincinnati, Texas versus Colorado. Not in Colorado, but still not great pitching there. And then Milwaukee at Tampa Bay. We talked about how there's, just riddled with injuries in the rotation and their closer. We'll see if Fairbanks is back soon. And then I did the White Sox side of the stack last game week, but White Sox versus Kansas City again, kind of similar to the Angels Baltimore call. It's kind of like a middle of the road. I like the White Sox side of it more. Kansas City's pretty bad, but I like both sides of that matchup. Yep.
I had that one noted too. It's crazy to see too. And it makes me kind of think, like, when are they going to release some new pitchers on the auction marketplace? Because somebody in the chat last week said, hey, or actually somebody commented on the video last week saying, like, actually, the conversation that we had based on the rookies was really good, but they've also had the other side of the coin where they're able to jump on them early and then sell them higher because there's still low supply, but they truly got in when nobody really knew about them. It's crazy to see here. Like, when I look at the ESPN stats, it's like more and more you're seeing undecided, no pitcher matchup.
Oh yeah.
Like,
wow.
It's crazy how many pitching injuries there have been this year. I've seen on social media, like, can you attribute that to the pitch clock a little bit? Are they moving people along too quick? I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much, but I have noticed that, lots of undecided, lots of new pitchers. I guess it's somewhat normal for that to happen this point in the season anyway. So, I like all those, game week 15s that you covered. Yerman at Cincinnati, Musgrove versus Boston is a couple of the Musgrove at home versus Boston. Tough pitchers park. Musgrove's a San Diego guy, so I like those. Dodgers and St. Louis. That's going to be a big stack this week, I think. Dodgers just hitting, firing away right now. St. Louis, bullpen's not looking great. I mean, Wainwright, you guys just picked apart Wainwright. That got ugly.
Yeah, that's we'll see how his season ends up.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
I'm going to go watch some Red Sox.
There we go.
Continue my day of Boston sports.
Yep. I'm with you.
When does the Eastern Conference Finals start? I know the Lakers start on Wednesday or Tuesday. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday for Boston?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Will definitely be fun too. And I know I talked to you guys about this last week. I wanted to make an announcement live here. We got a Sorare manager coming on as our first guest next week, and a big dog Sorare manager. He's been a part of the NFTY Sports Discord, really active in there lately, super fun and really knowledgeable. Always willing to help people out. He's going to come on for like 10 to 15 minutes, just give us some takes on Sorare, his experience. I think he was in there from game week 1 last year and has, I can probably count on 2 hands. I think he's up in the podium close to 10 times through various contests. But Clamp 1 will be joining us for a quick segment, which we're excited about. So,
love it. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Cool. Signing off.
I'm good.
Go Sox.
Go
Sox. Break that broom in half.
Yep.
There you go. I had to do it, boys.
It was good. It was good. I have the same broom, by the way.
It's a great broom. I should probably use it more.
All right. On that note, We'll talk to
Later.
you next week.
See you next week.
See you guys.